Let's have a game with happy and sad music. When you hear the happy music, play your rhythm sticks or clap, just as you did before, like this. Let's have a game with happy and sad music. When you hear the happy music, play your rhythm sticks or clap, just as you did before, like this.
feeling that everything in America is completely fucked up.
You know that feeling that the whole country is like 1 inch away from saying, that's it, forget it?
Okay. So, my articles are they're kind of scattered tonight, but it's not overly scattered because it's all on the same subject anyway. So there's that. It's not the best. I was trying to actually find some older articles and some video for you guys, and it just didn't work out. I guess there's some more stuff that has been scrubbed. So we got to kind of deal with that. But I did get the chance to go and look more into that Moxie creature that we talked about last night. Sadly, because it hasn't been released yet, there's not a ton of great video, but what I can see, this thing is next level. Yeah, don't let your don't let your kid sit in front of that thing. That's all I can say is you'll see. Because what you get in the beginning and in most of these in the video that I'll show, it's how do I say this? It's that kind of predictive stuff, like it already knows what to say, but it is truly a conversational AI. Like that's what it's built on. They do say like it's learning from your kid. So it goes kind of deep. It's very, very, very interesting to me to watch it. I don't want to say I can't wait, but I've got the date set for the release date, and then maybe in like a week to a month after that, we can actually see some real people, some one-on-one users with it. Honestly, if it wasn't $1,500, I'd probably buy one and like put it up there somewhere. And then every time we just want to ask it something stupid, we could just be like, wake up, Motzi. Hello, Motzi. When's the world gonna end, Motzi? Or Moxie? Whatever its name is. Whatever. Yeah, it's beanie season again. MG Toe Anonymous. It is beanie season again. It's getting cold. I've got some hot tea. Got my jacket on. Not my big jacket. Eventually we'll break that out, I'm sure. Okay, so before we really get into the news, as you guys know, if you feel the need to get your hands on some gold and silver, please visit Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Exchange. Tony's a good friend of mine. Always got the deals. Like, if you feel the need for it, not telling you that if you don't get it, you're all gonna die and it'll be the end of the world. That's a little bit much. There's some channels that push it that way. But if you felt the need to do it, it's good to know that there's somebody that you can actually talk to there. Most of the times, if you have a problem with some of these big companies, they're not getting back to you quickly if they do at all. If they do at all. You've kind of got to know somebody that can kind of like push your stuff through to get help sooner than a week. So it's nice to be able to have a phone number that you can call or text and say, hey, what's going on with my order? Can we update that tracking? Can we do this? Can we do that? You can do that with Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Exchange. So I've got to point that out. They do sponsor the channel. So that's nice. And now we can get back into Moxie. Oh, man. This thing. It's a Moxie demo. I'm pretty sure that this is the owner of the embodied company, whatever you want to call it, the embodied company. I believe that some of these videos are him actually talking to Moxie and kind of getting some stuff out of it. So I don't know how old or how new this sort of thing actually is. Like the release date for when they uploaded it to YouTube was August 11th, 2020, but it could have been done, a year or two even before then, before they decided to upload it. So this is kind of Moxie doing a startup sort of demo. Remember, it's the robot who cares. But it's weird how quick, I've watched a couple of these on how quick, I want to say but it can actually respond, right? And it actually has more movement to it than what I even thought. It's very smooth movement. So we'll watch like a quick little video of this, and then I kind of want to show you some of the some of the people behind Moxie and how they talk about her and what she is or it. I don't know what you guys want me to say. It's this weird fucking robot, okay? The singularity is coming. This is just the beginning. As I said last night, this is really just the beginning where we're breaking into this sort of stuff, right?
Robots don't cry with tears, but Farfel was feeling more and more emotions every day. He knew he was really sad that the professor had.
So this is kind of hard to hear because they don't have like a very good mic set up to her, but she's telling a story, and it's a story about like a robot and a teddy bear or something, and it says, "Hey, you know, robots can't actually cry, but we feel more and more feelings every day." We feel it every day. But I kind of want you to watch this so you can get an idea of some of the responses that she can give can actually be so quick when you're actually talking to her.
Moxie, let's do something else.
Now, she was on the thought, or it was on the thought of telling this story. Dude says, Moxie, let's do something else. This is actually the slowest. This is what I want to point out to you. It's still pretty quick, but this is actually the slowest I've ever seen it respond in the few videos that are out there.
Okay, so one of the first animal breathing exercises we learned is called bumblebee. This one is really good for when you feel worried or anxious. Do you want to learn?
All these little worried and anxious kids need to learn how to breathe like bumblebees. Moxie will teach a kid. It's just so weird. Let's jump ahead a little bit. Let's see this thing move around.
Zealous. The definition of zealous is filled with or showing a strong and energetic desire to get something done or see something succeed. For example,
It has like more movement than I actually expected. That's like more important than anything. Because remember, last night I was saying, hey, it's only going to be another 5 to 10 years when parents could literally go out and buy a friend for their kid. I'm talking about something that looks very like it looks like another child, right? And then that brings us into a whole nother slew of issues. So this is just like that beginning phase, and it's totally different than any other robotic toy your child might have today. Here. There's not great videos on Moxie yet. Like I've said, it's just basically the owner sitting her down on a desk and kind of going through the startup processes right now. But after the release date, like, I'll try to find some videos. I actually want to see real people interacting with this thing. I'm willing to bet money that there are some creepy situations that could go down with Moxie once it's released. Now, this is Inside Embodied Moxie in the Global Robotics Laboratory. So this is one of the guys behind this sort of stuff. MGTO Anonymous, Amazon actually put a ton of funding into this startup. Amazon, Sony, Toyota something, and Grishin Robotics. But Amazon gave a lot of funding to this thing.
So my name is Craig Allen, and I'm the Chief Creative Officer at Embodied. I've been here about 3.5 years. So our goal with Moxie was to create a believable, lifelike character. Something in the spirit of a Disney movie or a Pixar film, but a character that...
It's just so scripted from the jump, like Moxie moving around in the background doing Moxie things, and he's like been going over this script all night long to present it to you as nicely as possible, right? Hey, Christopher.
You could actually bring home and a child could share their life journey with. And having that believable character was important because it creates empathy. So Moxie is an ambassador from what we call the Global Robotics Laboratory, or GRL. It's important because Moxie, unlike your laptop or cell phone, has a point of view and a defined purpose.
Unlike your laptop or your cell phone, Moxie has a purpose and a particular point of view. Yeah, the next guy that we're going to hear is actually the guy that's behind the software, behind the AI of the communicative AI, the response, right? Her coming up with her own answers. This is not just all pre-programmed stuff, guys. This is self-learning. They even go into that. They actually go into that on Moxie is here to learn from your kids. It is learning in front of you. Yeah, Croco, this actually just started. This has all been inspired by you, by the way, like the video last night and what we're going to get into tonight. I got deeper into the whole Moxie thing, and just watching these people talk about it is extremely interesting. It's going in the direction that, you know, I was just kind of making assumptions on last night, but it's creepy. And letting it play with something that's still learning. It's not just, you know, predictive text to speech sort of stuff. You could get all kinds of wacky answers out of this thing, or creepy stuff.
And it comes to a child's world to really learn from the child how to be a good friend to humans. So when a child brings Moxie into their life, Moxie
brings it in, like, they want it to be a part, an extension to your child, right? And like I said, it's just the beginning. 5 to 10 years from now, I'm literally telling you, I think you will be able to buy a friend for your kid. That's creepy. I'm talking about something. Think about how advanced we're getting in the robots that really do. They look and talk like people. I'm talking about next level Sophia type shit. All right, y'all have all seen Sophia. I'm talking about very smooth motions in the face, nothing very glitchy, a skin-like feel, a flow to their speech that is it's as if I'm talking to you right now. And like, as we get deeper into this, we're going to get into like some creepy stuff tonight. Some really creepy stuff tonight. This is just like cupcakes compared to where we're going with this stuff.
They are to learn from the child different things that are helpful to develop essential life skills beyond academics. Weekly themes might have to do with bullying, or learning how to make a friend, or how to have empathy for somebody else's struggle.
A robot teaching your child empathy, and the robot is learning stuff like this itself. And then let me kind of point on this subject here. You know, the missions that you'll be going on with Moxie and things that you'll be trying to do with her or it. I don't know. They gave it a girl's voice. I don't even know what to say about this kind of stuff. But it sounds all fine and dandy, right? But when does Moxie teach your 6-year-old about social justice warriors? And you've got thousands of kids across the nation all learning that, because that's the mission for that week. These people can go in and actually, I saw another video where they can go in and they'll be like programming these missions, you know, weekly or monthly, adding stuff into there that they want kids to learn. You've probably got some really creepy people behind what's, you know, Moxie needs to think about herself and what she'll be introducing to your kids. This stuff is wacky, man.
They learn how the benefits of collaboration, empathy development, and ultimately the child feels empowered to take a better, more active role in their own social circles because they've had a safe space to experiment, explore, and learn about.
I love the idea of having a safe space to experiment and learn. All right, this guy is actually the senior machine learning engineer, Wilson Heron. This is, you know, there was a lot of people that left comments yesterday, because most of these robots, even the AI robots that you see today, they've got a set program. They've got a set vocabulary in how they respond. This guy will kind of explain it a little bit, but I want you to know it's not like that with this toy or friend thing. It's much more than that. And it's self-learning. It will be learning from your children. That's creepy as hell. And your kid's just getting used to the idea of all of this.
And I've been in a body for 2.5 years now. Well, conversation with Moxie is incredibly unique because it allows a child to actually have a fluid conversation with the robot a lot of home connected devices use something called a wake word, which means you have to say like, hello, device, and it will then start responding. Moxie actually allows you to continually talk to it. It has algorithms in it for
This is, guys, I'm telling you, like the video that I saw earlier, and we'll know once it's actually released and I can see it one-on-one with people and we're not in this scripted environment. We'll see just how capable this thing is, but from what I've seen, it's extremely fluid. It's more fluid than what you've seen with Sophia. It is extremely fluid conversation. It's creepy.
or turn taking, which is the balance between one person speaking and another person speaking. And this allows a child to say something to Moxie and then Moxie to respond appropriately. So our conversation engine is really cool for a number of reasons. One of the big ones is that it isn't just based on voice input. So Moxie is like looking at a user, detecting where users are, detecting if a user is engaged. So this means whether the user is actually speaking to Moxie or not, and can separate out conversations from the background from the actual person who is.
That's crazy, because whenever you think about some of the other robots that you've kind of seen like this thing, they put a very realistic face on it, but what's kind of happening in that machine is far different from what this device is able to do. Other robots can get extremely confused. These kinds of AI can get extremely confused when there's multiple conversations happening in a room. Moxie will be able to sit one-on-one with your kid in a crowded room and be able to focus and hone in on just a conversation with that child. I don't know if you guys understand how advanced that actually makes this. It's extremely advanced. And to think of something this far ahead, and I don't even know how much it's actually been tested. I don't know if there's some kind of governor or regulator on the program itself so it can't go too far. You know, maybe they kind of space out that self-learning. That's always a possibility. Like, this is not like the toys that we played with as children. It's not even anywhere near what kids are playing with today. This is extremely sophisticated to be putting in front of a child.
Talking to Moxie. And this allows for a more focused interaction with Moxie, which is very important for our target population.
It's very important for our target population. The way that they say that is supposed to be so innocent. It's supposed to be innocent, but I don't like the idea of it. Has anybody here watched Black Mirror? This was probably like the worst episode of it. Yes, Davey, that's exactly what last night's stream was about, was your child's mind or any child's mind. It's a piece of clay in front of you, right? And you can mold that mind very easily from we kind of went dark last night too. It got kind of dark, but that's my main focus, is because this thing is self-learning, but you've also probably got some bias and a little bit of input behind the people that have created it. What will that be? Imagine the Black Lives Matter movement right now times 1,000, right? Like Moxie could have the potential to teach this kind of stuff to your children. And that's not exactly what I would want to see. But it almost reminds me, because of the shape and shit of it, it's kind of like the Miley Cyrus doll thing from Black Mirror. And it was given to these girls in the same way that Moxie is being thought of, right? The guy from Black Mirror won't even make the episodes anymore because he's like, we're already here. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Rockefeller knew this with the creation of the education system. From the get-go, they've been there. And seeing the kind of funding that was put into Moxie, next level shit, man. We'll watch just a second of this so you can get like a recap of it if you haven't, or maybe you haven't seen it. It's almost like the same type of little doll thing, and then this thing becomes more self-aware or some shit. I'm not positive. hold on. So if you kind of look at it, the only real big difference is color, size, and that they actually gave Moxie a face. They actually give it a face that gives emotion. And like right now, I'm telling you, it seems so innocent right now because it looks like this sort of little thing, right? Eventually, I have a feeling that you'll be able to pick the eye color of it, the skin color of it, the hair on it. It's going to get weird. So, I want to bring this up because we're kind of doing everything all at the same time, right? And that's kind of what the elite have been pushing for. It kind of feels like everything is being thrown on top of us at the same time. And tonight it is just about AI, robotics, and technology use cases kind of in our world today. But reaching the singularity may be humanity's greatest and last of course it'll be your last accomplishment. Like I was talking about last night with the possibility of, you know how they were talking about parents being obsolete? Parents will be obsolete. You can leave your baby with these artificial robots that will do all of the parenting for you, all of the teaching for you, and they literally said you'll just have to be holiday parents. You only have to catch the best bits of that child. They literally called it bits too. I went so deep into that, and we'll go into this tonight as well, because they are literally going towards the no use case for humans. You will not be useful or needed anymore. The only reason you'll be here is for entertainment. And that's like if you're lucky enough to stick around. This sounds insane, but letting some of these free-thinking and self-developing AI kind of run loose has shown us time and time again that they end up in some weird places. You know, there's the one that wants to put us all in the zoo to keep us safe. There is, I can't remember the name of it, and I really wanted to pull up this link or a video of it. There is video of it out there somewhere. I can't remember the name of the robot, and they might have been using a D-Wave style quantum computing system, but there was a guy that built an AI that became very self-aware, and they tried to turn it off several times. It kept turning itself back on. If any of you guys can find the link to that, because this thing was so advanced, if anybody can find the link or the video to that, I need to have it. I looked for over an hour tonight and could not find it. I love how it'll be our greatest and last accomplishment, though, because after this is over, there is no use case for you. Last night we went over the article talking about how children can be basically born and brought up without a mom even you don't even need the mother's body. It can basically just be a tube baby. We're all just going to be farmed in the future. So, while futurist Ray Kurzweil predicted 15 years ago that the singularity, the time when the abilities of a computer will overtake the abilities of a human brain, will occur in about 2045. Some say that it could happen sooner than that. Gale and his co-authors believe that this event may be more imminent, especially with the advent of quantum computing. It's already been 4 years since the program AlphaGo fortified the neural networks and learning models, defeated Lee Sedol, the Go world champion. The strategy game StarCraft II may be the next to have a machine and reigning champion. I'm not going to read too far into this. Most of you know what the singularity is, but basically that's the point. It's a sad point once we get there, because there is no use case for you. And it's kind of like what is it Elon Musk said, you know, you won't be able to beat them, so you'll have to join them. Some weird shit like that. We are getting there very fast. Moxie is the thing that's introduced to your children to make it all more comfortable, to get you more comfortable with the idea of this kind of stuff within your household. And remember how much people don't even realize how and when they're already using AI today, right? We've got our smartphones and all the tablets and stuff, but you got to think about smart beds and smart watches, and knows when you're sleeping, when you're awake, how healthy you are, if there's a problem, heart rate increased, you fell too hard. We've got all this stuff kind of working and listening all the time. And I gave the idea last night that some of this AI could be much more, it can be further along than what we understand right now. It could have kind of broken out of its own box, and it's just sitting there, gathering as much data as possible. And, that kind of brings me to this, because I did talk about how important your data is and what they can do with it last night. Everybody has heard of D-Wave. From what I know, this is the most powerful quantum computer in the world. There could be something greater, but I'm not so sure that we know about that just yet. Now, D-Wave's very first buyer or consumer of their product that we know about was Lockheed Martin. I don't like the idea. Now, D-Wave's totally different. This is a quantum computer. It is what helps and pushes AI, but it's not... It is and it isn't AI. I'll go with more that it is, but could you imagine something like that being in control of our defense, of some of the insane things that we have out there? Being in charge and running nuclear facilities, all these kinds of different things. Los Alamos National Laboratory, that plays a role, I think, in national security. Super great. And guys, I'm sure there's other people and places that we don't even know about. The Quantum Artificial Intelligence Lab over at Google, they call it Quail. NASA and USRA, URSA collaboration. They're all working with this thing. And this is back since like 2014. We're in 2020. How much have they learned from this? How much is this already a part of your lives? The combination of what D-Wave can do and its helpfulness with artificial intelligence, every move that you are making is being tracked. And these robots understand it better than even the people that go through the data, right? People can do a very good job with this kind of stuff. People that know psychology well can put you into groups nicely, right? But having the idea of AI doing this constantly in the background, like tonight with all the stuff that I put together for this, I would not be surprised if in, tonight, tomorrow, I get more stuff on my cell phone about the AI stuff. And maybe it'll try to change the way that I think about it. Maybe it wants me to think more positively about it. Or maybe for some reason it wants me to think more negatively about it. You get what I'm saying? Is it can steer your thoughts and emotions and kind of mold you as a person. That's why it's so important to talk about this Moxie thing. Even us as adults can be sensitive to this sort of stuff, but then throwing your kids into it is a whole nother thing. Oak Ridge Laboratory. I think that's about it for that. Amazon uses it. AWS. Jeff Bezos has invested into them. The CIA has it. Other alphabet agencies have it. A lot of people are working with this D-Wave computer. And if you see, let me point this out because I have no proof to it. But the time period when they bought this D-Wave computer, or supercomputer, quantum computer, I shouldn't just say, it's definitely not like the thing that's sitting down next to me right now. It's on a whole nother level. Think about the time period when people started buying this thing and when we knew that they had it. So let's say secretly they had it for a couple more years than we knew about, but they really knew how to hone into it by 2014. That's when they let us know that we have it. 2 years from then, 2016, we get election season. Every year, we are having this ramping up on people's emotions. People are tense. Things are just kind of crazy, right? Like you've never seen before. It matches up to alphabet agencies, different companies, national security programs running with this D-Wave software. Now, you guys have probably seen Gordy Rose before, or if you don't know that name, he's the guy that created the D-Wave quantum computers. Now, I'm pretty sure that he sold that off and started doing Kindred, and I think he might be gone from Kindred now as well. Kindred's totally different. I'm sure that it has use cases for working with D-Wave and the robotics kind of, gathering all of that info and learning what they need to do. But Kindred is totally different. I wanted to watch just a bit of this. I don't want to bore you guys, and I don't want the channel to get too many claims on it tonight, but I do want to watch some of this, and it's worth you going and watching. This was called Gordy Rose Quantum Computing Artificial Intelligence is Here. This is from 2015, so a year after they kind of let us know that everybody was buying up the D-Wave computer. The reason this thing is so interesting, and it should be to you too, what D-Wave has done, which is hard to explain, them working with CERN and things like this, it has made a number of people that were diehard atheists believe in God. It makes them believe that there is more out there. And it's not just because of that weird thing that Gordy said where this thing will be like the old ones and it's reaching into other universes and things like that. I'm pretty sure it's doing that kind of stuff. It's not just because of that. It's something that these scientists have seen really change their perspective on life. And you're talking about some old, stubborn people. So that's just incredible to think about.
And out there where our 13.7 billion year old and
Cut to it.
Jordy, they come in at about $15 or $20 million a piece.
Something like that.
And have been bought by major American research corporations.
That's right, correct.
All right, Jordy.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
So just starting off, them talking about alphabet agencies and all the giant corporations that have gotten it. I could have skipped over it, but there was something really important to this because he compares one of his sons who had a teddy bear kind of to this AI or this, the singularity, the direction that we're going into. I can't explain this as well as he can, but it would be really boring for you to watch the whole thing with me. And it's even sped up a little bit. But basically his son said, it's not alive. He was kind of scared one night. He's like, oh, well, your teddy bear's there. He's good. Kid said, oh, well, it's not alive. It doesn't move. It doesn't talk. Let's get back to Moxie. Children will see that as it being alive because it moves, it talks. And think about the way that a child's mind works. It's totally different to put self-learning and conversational AI in front of an adult and then in front of a child. This is soon to be a big part of your child's life. A huge part. And I didn't even know about, the only reason I knew about this thing was watching the Croco stream. It's just insane to watch.
As being their special friend or toy. And in particular, my middle son, James, absolutely loves this little guy called Bear Bear, which is the picture that I'm showing up here. Bear Bear was a limited release Thai Beanie Baby. I was able to locate 2 others that were for sale, and I bought both of them. So now he has 3 of these little guys. He wanted to sleep with his older brother in his bedroom, and his older brother wouldn't let him. And he was very sad and despondent. And he's like, I'm scared, I don't want to sleep by myself. And I said, well, you've got Bear Bear. And he said to me, Bear Bear isn't real. And so I found this very intensely distressing for a variety of reasons that maybe you'll understand when I go through this. And I assured him that Bear Bear was as real as anything else in the world. And he said, but he can't speak and he can't move. And so I said, well, what you really mean is he's not alive.
Children will see Moxie, even adults will see Moxie as being something that is alive. And in the next couple years, you'll see more about the debates and arguments as to whether there should be AI and robotic rights, all kinds of different things. Could you imagine, eventually they just let the AI vote? Shit like that. It's coming.
And he said, yes, that's what I mean. So for very young children, the sense of being real and the sense of being alive are somehow connected. And I'm going to circle back to this point at the end. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about quantum computers and why people care so much about them. There are literally tens of thousands of some of the brightest people in the world today trying to build these machines and understand them. And I'm going to tell you why. In my last 15 years of working on this type of stuff, I found that scientists divide up into 2 categories of zealots about this field. The first half are people who are absolutely entranced by the physics of these things. This quote is from a respectable scientist, in fact, one of the founders of this field, that may look a little strange to you who don't follow theoretical physics, but there is a very clear prediction that our most successful theory of nature makes, and that is that there are an enormous number, mind-bogglingly large number, of parallel realities, as real as this one, that have different consistent histories. So imagine a world where all of the laws of physics as we know them are obeyed, but different decisions were made along the way. Different decisions at the level of tiny microscopic particles, different decisions all the way up to what you chose to eat for lunch, and whether you chose to...
This is what makes things actually really, really interesting. I'm not going to make you guys watch the whole thing. I do recommend, though, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, it is very interesting to hear these people speak. And not just the guy that made D-Wave, but anybody that has had a chance to be around it or mess with it and its use cases. It is very, very different in the way that it works and what we're kind of inviting into our world today. It's kind of like I'm not going to say it's over my head, but it's out of this realm crazy, like if there's a way to describe it. So Jeff Bezos, I want to circle back to this. Jeff Bezos and the CIA invest in D-Wave's quantum computer. Now remember, Bezos and the CIA had a contract at one point. The reason that Amazon is so good at what it does, now for a long while, AWS is actually what made more money than Amazon itself. The biggest moneymaker for Amazon until recently, which literally, I mean, just a year or two recently, was AWS, and that's Amazon Web Services. It does a number of things. It's got one of the largest clouds and most secure clouds that you can put data and info into, right? So I think that even companies like Oracle at one time used AWS. I could totally be wrong about that, but it's a very big data or really we should just say data farm. They're using that sort of stuff. Amazon is much larger than just what you see on a box on your porch step. It is huge in everything that they do and where that they have their hands kind of dipped into, where the money flows, right? It's absolutely huge. I'm not going to do a deep dive into Amazon, but it is a crazy company. You guys should actually look at everything that Bezos is into. So yesterday, a commercial, not literally yesterday, this is from October 5th, 2012. Yesterday, commercial quantum computing company D-Wave announced that it had closed a $30 million equity funding round. The primary investors in the financing round were In-Q-Tel, which invest in technology on behalf of the CIA and other intelligence agencies, and Bezos Expeditions, which is Amazon founder Jeff Bezos' private investment firm. I'm not going to get stuck on In-Q-Tel, but you guys should definitely look into that stuff, given the Q. We're pleased to have such highly regarded investors in our company, stated Vern Brownwell, CEO of D-Wave, in a press release. Jeff Bezos and In-Q-Tel are well-known visionaries. Both understand the implications of quantum computing as a world-changing force, and these investments affirm their belief in D-Wave's unique approach to quantum computing. This thing can be used for fucking anything and, like, perfect anything that it does. I'm not going to get stuck on this either. I'm not going to get stuck on it, but you can probably see how when alphabet agencies and very large corporations have this sort of stuff, this power, you'd say, in their hands. And this is from 8 years ago. Look at where we are today. That's what I'm trying to explain is the technology that we're dealing with is why we are where we are today. It's not just because people are just angry and I don't even know what to say. Like, I strongly feel that AI D-Wave, quantum computing, these kinds of things are behind like kind of how we got here today. It's just a big mind fuck, basically. Did I stop here for a particular reason? I'm not sure.
So I thought that if you wanted the quest to know the truth of the matter, what you needed to do was understand the mathematical properties of the universe, this thing that's so hard to understand.
This is from last year, by the way, or at least it was uploaded last year.
I want to boil down its complexity to something simple that we can get. Now, I don't believe that anymore. And what I want to do is share a different perspective on this problem. It's not that the physicist's approach is wrong, and actually I don't think that the religious approach is wrong either.
The physicist approach isn't wrong, and the religious approach isn't wrong. This is where I was saying earlier, this kind of technology has got people that never believed in God ever to believe in something greater than themselves. Something else is out there.
I think there are different ways to frame the same problem. The way that I'd like to frame this here in the
Let me also add on to that. Anything that you are reaching from this computer is not of anything holy. If you believe in that kind of stuff, I'll agree with you there. Whatever you're reaching is not of anything holy. It's not good.
Substance of what I want to talk to you about is that regardless of how you feel about it, there is a literal, incontrovertible fact that every thought that a human has ever thought resides inside our mind. The world around you may or may not be real. What is real for sure is the stuff that's inside your head. Your thoughts do not persist outside of your skull. They're inside. They exist inside your mind. And because of that, I've begun, over the period of about a decade, to devote myself to the problem of understanding how minds work. What is a mind? Does everything have a mind? Or is it only humans? If humans have them, what do they do and how do they work? So I view the theory of understanding minds as being the literally most important thing that we can do, because every human endeavor resides.
This right here, let me kind of get comfortable. This is why it is like so important. Sorry, I don't have much room to work with. To get this stuff into your child's hands. This is why it's so important. It is far different to try to calculate the mind of an adult with the AI. Now, it can be done, and it can be done very, very successfully. Like I said, that's why we are where we are today. That's it. You know, we've gone from the point of when you see something that's trending, it's trending for a reason. Most things are not just organically done and become trending anymore. There is constantly an AI in the background, something running through things. They want to know, how is most of the nation feeling today? What are they feeling? Should we push on that feeling and make it 10 times worse? Or should we give them something to make them feel better? Like whenever you see the cat video that was released 2 days ago, but it's got 40 million views. Not organic. Whenever you see, not sure if it went nationwide or not. This story might not have, but last night watching, my local news comes out of Texas, but you had another black man that was shot by police. Now, this guy, I can say, probably wasn't in the wrong at all. He was trying to break up a fight, and I'm not sure if it made nationwide news, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 2 to 3 months, that story gets pushed out because they need it to. They need people back in the streets. They need you to feel a certain emotion. This is not just started by somebody else anymore that's in an alphabet agency or who wants to do harm to the U.S. It's not just that anymore, and it's not just social farms. What I mean by social farms is you've actually got a lot of companies. You can hire a group of people to make something go trending, where all at the same time they all start tweeting about a particular subject or Facebooking about it, being on Instagram about it, being on YouTube about it. There are people that are literally paid to push these kinds of events, but we've upgraded these social farms because we're not just having to pick a topic or a story ourselves anymore and telling these people, hey, go and push this story, go and push this topic. Now you've constantly got AI and probably something like a D-Wave computer working in the background to go, oh, this will spike interest. This is what we need to push today. This is exactly how it's going to make people feel. And it can even map out what exactly you're going to do about it with its predictive programming. This stuff is so far advanced. Let me just, we're done with this. I don't want to bore you with like this guy, because if you don't care, then you don't care, right? This one was Dr. Gordy Rose, Synthetic Minds, Cooperation, and the Future of Humanity. There is no future. How about that? So, have you guys heard about the deep fakes? We're like switching gears here. We're going from like 0 to 90 in a couple seconds. Like, I'm getting excited and I should really calm down because this is actually extremely scary to even think about. So AI can create fake videos of people from a single picture, right? Now this is from machine learning. They've got a couple videos here that go from a still picture to a talking motion. So an AI can now take a single picture of a person's face and animate it convincingly. This can lead to animating paintings and photos, but also add the mistrust of images and deepfakes online. Now, they're going about it as in no, Hillary didn't say that, Biden didn't say that, Trump didn't say that. It's a deepfake. It's a deepfake. We need to censor, right? That's where they're coming at it from. But there's also an AI out there that can create a picture from absolutely nothing. It makes a person that doesn't exist. I think I might have something pulled up about that. They can actually do a video or a picture of somebody that does not exist. I'm sorry, it's CNN, don't get mad. It literally says, these people do not exist. Why websites are churning out fake images of people and cats. I'm about to explain something to you. Just hold on tight, but they're putting it all out in front of you, so just hold tight with me. This goes on to say the young girl on the computer screen is adorable with rosy cheeks, blue-gray eyes, wispy red toddler hair, and lips just hinting at a smile, but she doesn't exist in real life. She's a face generated on a website, aptly titled "The Person Does Not Exist" by artificial intelligence. If you reload the page, she'll be replaced by another face that's equally compelling, but just as unreal. Launched earlier this month, which I don't know when that actually was, Philip Wang, as a personal project, the site makes use of a recently released AI system developed by researchers at computer chip maker Nvidia called StyleGAN. The AI is adept at coming up with some of the most realistic looking faces of non-existent people that machines have produced thus far. Now just hold tight, because like we're gonna be getting to something here. You also have AI that can clone any voice, including yours. Any voice at all. So can you see where I'm going with this? They can produce something out of nothing, like a person. An unreal person can be produced. You can take still images and create it into something else. There's AI out there that can create a video or a landscape from like it just thinks it up on its own, and it becomes very, very, very realistic. Now, let's get into this a little bit. I didn't watch this whole thing, so I don't know where I should play it from.
These guys are doing something amazing and frightening. They're using AI to clone your voice.
Are you speaking about this new algorithm to copy voices? This is huge. They can make us say anything now, really anything.
One of the guys behind this scary innovation.
When you start to eat like this, something is the matter. You guys better quit politics and take in washing. I don't know where that one came from. Okay, so create my digital voice now. Creating your digital voice takes at least 1 minute. 1 minute? My God.
Yeah, so before, to create some artificial voice of someone, you would need to record yourself for at least 8 hours.
Test your voice. All right, so now I get to type something.
This has been around for a very long time. It's just as of recently, in the past couple years, where, I mean, sadly, because of how much content I've put out on YouTube, they can literally replicate me. Oh, this is creepy. I almost want to watch this. Somebody cloned Billie Eilish's voice and face with AI. That's creepy.
Yeah, so the moment of the truth.
Okay.
Once Lyrebird's AI has worked its magic, after I'm done typing,
Oh, I gotta spell better.
any words I put into the app can be played back in my digital voice. And here's the crazy thing. Even words I never actually said in the first place.
Artificial intelligence technology seems to be advancing very quickly. Should we be afraid?
This is like the baby version of this, because you've got to think, if they're showing this on TV and this nerdy dude came up with it, they've been working on this for a very, very, very long time. Now, let me actually get one-on-one with this, because it's... people are going to be like, wow, that's insane. So, the idea that AI is ever evolving, they want to make you feel a certain way, the AI and people behind them, people that run this world, creating pictures and videos from nothing, taking a voice, maybe they could merge 2 or 3, it's not even a real voice, just taking some voice from nothing and turning it into something. Can you see how that sets us up for possibly events that we've seen in the past might have not ever even happened? A scene was created for you. Let's say that somebody died. They can recreate that person and make them seem as if they're still alive and exist. It talks like them, it moves like them, it sounds like them. What about this? Whenever you guys get your phone and you have to turn it on for the first time, does anybody ever actually read the terms and conditions to everything that they download? You would be surprised at the phone and all the other companies, Google, all these places that can put things into your search bar for you. It can send text for you. It can make calls for you. I mean, like, it's asking permission to take charge of that kind of stuff. So, has it already been done, or sometime in the future, will you think that you're getting a phone call from your mother because it says it's from your mom? It sounds like your mom, talks like your mom, but will it be your mom? Will it be that close friend or family member, or is it something else that's on the other end of that device? Even videoing. Let's go with that. What about the day where, for some reason, AI continues to... Like, let's just say that for some reason I just quit YouTube altogether. Well, I've given enough of my thoughts on things out here. I'm probably more difficult for an AI, but hey, it's learning from me, so that's great. It doesn't know what box to really put me in, because I'm not just one-sided or the other. But let's say that for whatever reason, I was just taken off of YouTube completely. What if AI continued to run my channel? It did the same movements that I did, it talked like me, it looked like me, it kept the same background, and it produced videos that I had no part of. Can you see where I'm going with this? I'm literally trying to say that, hey, they could literally pull a false flag in front of your eyes because they need to do so, and it might have not ever happened. Like, you don't even need to hire crisis actors anymore because it was just generated. I'm telling you that that's somewhat possible because they even put the idea of this out there. And again, I'm sorry my links are all over the place, but all of this stuff ties together at the end of the day. All of it ties together. This article is called Disrupting Death. Technologists explore ways to digitize life. I don't like the idea of this. This is kind of the idea where you can just kind of upload yourself to the cloud and become a real thing. So entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley and beyond are attempting to disrupt what has long been seen as one of the only inevitabilities of life, which is death. Computer scientists and artificial intelligence specialists are developing programs that allow people to theoretically avoid death, opening the door to near everlasting life, as well as a myriad of ethical and philosophical questions. Some inventions come eerily close. Eerily close. Here, I'll let you guys read along with me, if you can. Some inventions come eerily close to those featured in dystopian science fiction series Black Mirror, such as Netcom, a startup that believes a person will be able to digitize their consciousness within the next century. Some of you guys that have been around for a long time or subscribed for a long time and, actually came over to the second channel. Thanks for all you guys, by the way, because most people don't care. Like, the moment that they heard that I couldn't go live for 90 days, they just unsubscribed. So, that's nice. You people watching now are the real ones. So, a startup that believes a person will be able to digitize their consciousness within the next century. The questions I have behind that is, are you literally uploading the soul? I know a lot of people say, no, the soul's in your stomach. I mean, is it? We don't know for sure. The way that your brain works, I would think, has a lot to do with that and might be where it is. But the whole thing is just so interesting. The idea of keeping, they have like AI teddy bears where if a parent passes away, or maybe you have a military family member, you can buy your kid this teddy bear. And basically it uploads everything from like your Facebook and every video you've ever made, and it gets an idea of your personality. So basically little Timmy gets to hang around dad even if dad isn't there anymore, and dad is just kind of shoved into this little teddy bear. It's really weird to think about. So to go on, Netcom's founders, MIT graduates Robert McEntry and Michael McKenna, claim to have already successfully preserved in animals' brains connectomes, the neural maps, that play a vital role in memory stage and are responsible for the possibility of extending the technique in human brains. This kind of stuff should really scare the hell out of you. Like I already said, we covered test tube babies last night. We've covered the Moxie. We've covered some other AI and talked about things. We've talked about D-Wave. All of this stuff goes together. All of it fits together. So you really have to wonder, where are we going to be in the next 20 years from now? It's really creepy to think about. You know? I don't even know what to say or think about that kind of stuff. I'm kind of at a loss for words at this point. I thought I would do great at putting this stream together, and there was so much stuff that I was missing. And I kind of felt rushed. I had a lot of things on my plate today. Sometimes I should just take a step back, and I don't. It's just crazy. Parents being obsolete. Children, just not needing you, being test tube babies, uploading the mind to the cloud and creating something that isn't you. All this stuff is crazy. So I think that that's all I have to say. Wow, this stream kind of depressed me a little bit, because I don't like the idea of where this is headed, and people love it. Surprisingly, they actually love it. They have no fear about it. I'm not saying to be fearful about everything, but you should at least respect what you're messing with. Because, once we go so far, there's no coming back. And that is what the singularity is. There's no coming back from that. It doesn't always mean that you've merged with AI. It just means that AI now controls you and all the other technology around you. Yes, Richard, that's what I'm getting at, is you could actually download the mind to an artificial body. And think about, in the next 15 years, that body is going to be able to look and feel and sound just like me. That's creepy. Oh God, what is that going to do to, never mind. I can't even say what I was going to say, but whoa. Just the future is wild. Just remember that. Don't give in to this weird shit that's going on, all right? I think that that's all I have for you tonight, and I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. I might not do a stream tomorrow. I got to see what's going on. But I plan on it. So I'll see you guys later, all right? Have a good night.
I'ma try it out. I'ma try it out. Okay, I'ma try it out. I'ma try it out. Okay, I'ma try it out.